Okay, guys, I think we're live. I'm not really sure. It says I'm live. There we go. Okay. Welcome, welcome. This is Josh with Inktology, and today is a fun one because this is my first time doing the iPad on live stream, and oops. And as you can see, we got some drawings here, but I'm going to show you what an ink drawing that I have done. So this is kind of an example of it, but we're going to start from scratch. I'm going to show you how I've got this image over here and why I turned it blue and all the fun reasons why drawing on the iPad and taking a sketch over to it is a fun way of protecting your pencil drawing, as well as, having fun with inking and learning how to ink better. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. This will help out your good dear friend here, Josh, me, and Inktology grow as I show you how I illustrate and what illustration is all about. And yeah, the iPad's looking good on the screen. This is making me happy. But let's get into it, and I'm not going to waste your time. Today's going to be hopefully a quick one. So a quick tutorial on how this all works and how to get some really good lines in there. Chitara's looking nice. I just started her, but we're going to continue in with Lion-O and her as well. So how do you get this image onto the iPad? What does that look like? Hold on, let me make sure my audio is recording. Okay, good. What you're going to do first is, if you're using the iPad specifically, you're going to want some kind of transfer system. If you're going to use Dropbox, or let's say, I'm using a messaging system, Kakao, which is a Korean chat. It's kind of like WhatsApp. But there's tons of, you could just send it to you via email or whatever. However you're going to get it, just get it the best quality you can get it. Maintain the quality, make sure it's not compressed. But first, let's take a picture of our drawing, and then let's go from there. Hey guys, so let's just start with the simple process of taking the photo of the image and then getting it to your iPad. It's pretty simple. You can use any app to just transfer it over. If you have Dropbox, Google, anything like that, you just need to transfer the image, but you want to transfer it in the best quality. Now, this is a step that a lot of people kind of get confused on. Maybe they understand it, but some simple tasks, right? Make sure your lens on your camera is clean. This thing is often forgotten, and there's a fingerprint and stuff, and then they transfer it over and it's really blurry. Make sure you clean it really well. And then take your photo with the highest maximum megapixel. I'm using one that's a 4.3, but it's a 108 megapixel resolution, okay? And that's because I'm using a Samsung Note. And then you're going to take a photo of the image. Now, when you take a photo, sometimes the lenses will distort the actual quality of the photo, bend the edges and all that stuff. So in order to have room to play with on your iPad, don't be all zoomed in where it's filling the whole screen. You want to pull back, and you want to take the image with a border around it that has, some room so you to distort it later on. Now, once you take the photo, okay, you're going to see here that I have room to play with on top and on bottom and around. Okay, now you're going to send that to yourself so that way you can retrieve it on your iPad, however you do that. I'm using a messaging system. You can use, WhatsApp or whatever. Just send it to yourself, and then if you have it on your iPad, you can just download it from there. Once it's downloaded, now let's get into how to make sure it's all nice and clean to start inking. Okay, so that was a quick video on, what was going on how to get it over, how to take the photo of it, And so from here, I have turned the image blue, and then I started inking it. But how do we get to this point? Okay, let's go back and let's just start fresh. We're just going to start brand new. Okay, let's make a new one, and let's see. What I like to do is choose a big size. I'm probably going to choose somewhere around Let's just choose 4500 to 4500. Now you go up here and then you insert the photo. And I have a couple images we're going to take from soon, but we're going to do this photo here of the Thundercats drawing, and I'm going to stretch it out. Now, too big is not good because then you don't have many layers to work with, and having layers is very important. But for this, I think I'm just going to do inking, and then maybe later on I'll do the colors. I can always, switch it up around later. But I'm just going to do this for now. And from here, I do want a grid. This is going to help me line up the page accurately. Okay, so let me move it up here real quick. Adios, TF. Have a good one, dude. So what I'm going to do here is actually take the image. I have a couple layers. Might want to add one or two for the inking, but let's just go back to this one. And then I'm going to take this and actually get it aligned with the drawing, with the grid. So, oops. You can't really see it, but there's a distort image. Let me see if I can move this up. There we go. We got a distort here. What this is going to allow me to do is kind of distort it to fix any kind of distortion that my camera did. But actually my camera did a pretty darn good job, so I don't have to do much. I think I just got to do a little bit on top. Actually, I think that's it. But you're going to move that around and kind of play with it and see what you can do to get the lines to match that grid line. And get it the way you want it to look. It's important. Importante. And so once it's out, I'm going to go back out, click this out, and then I'm going to take off the grid because I don't need it anymore. The drawing guide. Ah, man, digital should be the anti-intimidating thing because digital is the most forgiving thing you can come up with. So if you're afraid of digital, you have the wrong perception of what digital is. Digital is made for literally the learning process itself. Inking and penciling, now that's intimidating because if you mess up, you mess up. You have to start all over, you have to get a piece of new paper. With the inking, you have layers of stuff that you can do. So it's real simple too because it's kind of like using like a thin piece of paper over top of your drawing every time, and you can see through the piece of paper to draw on. And if you don't like it, you crumble it up and throw it away. But with digital, you don't even have to crumble it up. You could just backtrack and you get to save all your information. So here we go. We got this drawing, and what I'm going to do to clean it up is I'm actually going to create a rectangle around this and just copy and paste, get rid of that. And now you can see I don't have the border anymore. And we just have this image. Oops. There we go. There we go. So, the good thing is I can actually draw at an angle with this instead of having to bend my head around a camera. So now we have this. I can probably go and cut some of this off actually, freehand it. Take the eraser, make sure it's soft brush and erase all that nonsense. All right, so we're looking good. And the cool thing is I can draw outside of the picture, so it's going to be fine when I need to crop it in later. Nothing has to be perfect on digital. It's great. So I'm going to duplicate this because I don't like to work with the raw, and I can make a bunch of duplications of this and keep it all safe. Actually, I don't need the original, but I'll just keep the original. So it's always good to group things too, just so you can hide layers. But then here we go. So, oops. Yeah, that's fine. So we have this. Now, I can do whatever I want with this thing. Actually, let's crop the canvas, give me some more room to work with, but not too much room. There we go. Now, if you can see at the top, there's a kind of a bright spot. That's because the photo I took was near the light at the top of the page. You can always fix this. They have settings where you can do color saturation, brightness, hue, curves. I'm going to do curves, drop that highlight down, push the shadows up a little bit, if I pull down the darks, you get an inked effect already, which is kind of cool. You can get the inked effect, but we're trying to level out the image. So using curves, my screen doesn't capture the whole thing. So you have the curves here, and you can see that if I move it, you get different highlights. This is the darks, mids, highlights here. Highlights, right? You can get those highlights pushed hard, but I'm gonna bring it kind of down. Mids, mid-tones, right? Push it up a little bit. Don't want to lose too much detail because that's where most of the details are at. And then the darks is, you can see here, it's gonna push all the darks, but I'm going to flatten out the image a little bit because we don't need to see it perfectly. I just need to have it nice and smooth. Once I'm done with that, I will go into sharpening it. I need it to be sharpened, so I'm going to click the sharpen thing, and then I'm going to pull it across till it looks darn sharp. Okay? That will clean up that image where all the blurriness might be. You don't want to go too sharp because then it starts to digitize things, but you do want a little bit. And I think that's it. You can always take the saturation and drop it down to black and white, but it doesn't really matter. So the great thing about doing digital inking is that you can get rid of a lot of the worry. I find the worry is just so much better to ink it digitally. I like natural inking. It feels good. It's better. It's more peaceful, but it's really cool to ink. Like, for example, I did the Gundam. I'll go real quick just to show you the Gundam. This was originally inked, I think. Let's see, how many layers do I have? I don't have that many layers. Let's see what it looked like on paper. This was the original. This is the finished project, but this is the original. That's the original right there. So I took a photo of it, and you can even see the wrinkle of the paper to the left side of it. But once you're done, you can heighten the contrast and everything, and you get this bad boy out of it. And it's fantastic, you know, it's fun. So, yeah, and that's what I'm doing for some of my other drawings here. I think you guys seen my samurai one that I took. It's a drawing that I'm trying to work on, just doing a comic book page. But we're doing this today. And so what I like to do is that drawing black on black is not fun because you can't really tell the detailing of it. So what I like to do is take the image and then turn it blue. So what I'll do is I'll go to the second layer, add a new layer, and I will find a blue color, something like light blue, drop it in, take the blue here, and then go to screen. Is it screen or add? Which one do I usually do? Definitely not overlay. Oh, maybe it's soft light. No, it's not soft light, it's screen. Okay. And then I take this one and no, that's not it. Yeah, I guess I should figure this one out. Maybe it is soft light. Yeah, it's soft light. And what I'll do here is bring it down a little bit. Make the opacity of the underlaying to a point where I can see it, but it doesn't distract from me. If need be, I can always change the color of it. But what the blue does is separates the black ink that I'll be drawing on top of it with the blue. So, for example, with Chitara, I'm going to take this, I'm going to layer next layer, and I'm going to select black because that's my, the pen. The pen I'm going to use is actually, there's a lot I can use. I've got just a gnarly amount of pens I like to use, but Studio Pen's really nice because it allows this kind of a smooth back and forth kind of thickness. Right? That's very fun to use. But for this one, I may end up just doing the technical pen. The problem with the technical pen is not very smooth. You can see the jaggedness of it. It's not that great. Actually, you know what? Let's just do technical pen. It's going to be easier. And lower it down to a smaller point. So, let's begin. And from here, I can just start drawing. I'm on the new layer, so I don't have to worry about anything that affects this stuff. I could just start drawing, and you can see the separation between the blue and that. Now, we'll start with Bad Boy Lion-O here. The cool thing is that because it's digital, you can zoom in and really see your image better, and you don't have to worry about crushing your eyes to try to see this stuff. And if you make a mistake, you just double tap and it disappears. That's what's great. I love that feature. It's a brilliant feature. And each character can live on a different layer in this app, and like Photoshop or with any other app that you're using to draw with. Most of them these days have a similar, thing that they're going by, simple rules of double tap and kind of erasing and stuff. So you should be all right. The learning curve for drawing digitally is very small. It used to be quite large because you were doing Photoshop or you're doing some kind of professional software with a Wacom or some kind of pad that wasn't straight to screen. But with the iPad, you go straight to screen, so it's pretty phenomenal. Any mess ups you have, you'll see right away, and you can fix them with pretty much ease, I guess you would say. So, and the brushes that they give are pretty amazing too. So that's cool. Yukuri Odyssey, hello, hello, hello. Probably saying your name terribly wrong, but I try. Welcome, welcome. So for shading on the iPad though, since I'm going to be doing some retro coloring, I'm not going to be shading them in because that's where the coloring is going to come into play. But I'm going to show you guys what I do for the colors. I appreciate the forgiveness. Probably say half the people who join their names wrong. Okay, so Lionel is coming through. Do some of the hair. The cool thing I like about like digital inking is that it actually allows me, I'm a terrible colorist. You know, I definitely need to hire a colorist for my comic book, for sure. But thank you, appreciate the compliment, Odyssey. It's been a kind of a fun project. I really enjoyed this one. I don't know if a lot of people enjoy Thundercats or not, but I enjoy it. It's kind of like He-Man, or Thundercats kind of has this anime / like American animation to it, so it's got both worlds, it feels like. And it's a bunch of cats. Like, cats are dope. I mean, it'd be cool if it's Thunder Dogs too, but Thundercats will work. Okay. So what you could do is you don't have to do this. You could do this with the color that you're going to color it with, and it will look great. Probably even better. But just for example, so you know what? To go retro, let's look. So I have some images here. Let's see what the color source will be. Let me finish inking it. I should probably finish inking it. Yeah. So like inking on the iPad can be cheating it sometimes, because like you can do really cool techniques where it'll straighten the line for you. It's not cheating, it's just, say for I was going to do this and it's kind of jagged. If I hold it, it turns smooth. Like, that's great. I could just smooth out my lines by just holding the line down. For example, if I did this, right, it'll straighten itself out if I just held it. Whereas an ink artist, you can't really do that. I do find sometimes whenever I'm drawing on paper, I'll try to zoom in and out with my finger because I'm so I get used to the iPad. Okay, so there's a long way to go, but you can see already it's looking fantastic, because that's what ink does. Ink just looks freaking dope. Let's go to the sword. So one of the things I have to be careful of is the line thickness. The harder you push, the thicker the line gets. Look how easy that was to ink. My gosh. Don't be intimidated. It's easy breezy. And Control Z, yeah. So yeah, I'm used to the Photoshop app, and then Control Z was the, it's the life-saving key to know. It's what you do. Control Z. I was weary about getting the iPad for a long time because I was like, it's obnoxiously like expensive. Should I do it? All kinds of different reasons. And the moment I got it, I was like, this is a game changer for sure. I never looked back. I mean, look how easy it was to make a circle. That's ridiculous. It's weird that he has like some kind of spade here on his sword. Eesh. Yeah, you can see how easy it is. It's ridiculous. Ridiculously easy. Mm-hmm. Kind of hard to get this curvature right. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you, Randy. No, I get you. When I saw digital stuff, I was like, what am I supposed to do? But what they don't really say is that digital is actually like the cheating process. So you don't have to worry. It gives you 1,000 chances times 10, and you don't have to worry one little bit about messing up. Like, it is honestly the easy way out of mastering the technique of drawing. But it also teaches you a lot of cool stuff. You can actually trace a lot of artwork and learn how to get better through, the digital form that'll translate over to inking. Now, the problem is that because you get used to being able to make so many mistakes on digital and then retract, you may feel a little flimsy on your actual traditional artwork, that's the hindrance, is going back to traditional and forgetting that you can't undo with Control Z or double tap. And yeah, you shouldn't be comparing yourself ever. It's pointless. It's an endless cycle of doom. Sorry, excuse me. A little bit to drink there. comparing yourself is about as pointless as chewing bubblegum underwater, you know, as they say. I don't know if anyone's ever said that. I don't know where even that came from. I apologize. But it should make sense. I think it makes sense. But yeah, this is like easy breezy stuff. I would highly recommend getting digital if you want to do amazing pieces, because it really allows you to do those. I can't paint and I can't even color. Honestly, tell you the truth, when it comes to coloring, I'm the worst. But when I got digital, the game changed because I could make 1,000 mistakes and figure it out. And what I'm about to show you is what most artists do. Well, not most artists. I don't know what most artists are actually doing. But what I do, that's for sure. Hold on, let me get this curvature right, and then we'll get on to it. So, I mean, look at that. It looks like I inked it perfectly, as if it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now, it does take a time because I have to trace over everything I drew. But the Control Z, the undo button, man. Life changing. Life changing. My buddy was a traditional inker, and he had the same thought actually as you, Randy. He's like, oh man, I don't know. Like, look at all these crazy great artists on here. Like, I'm jumping into a new world of artists who have already mastered this skill and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, just get yourself an iPad. And he's like, dude, I want to pay that much money for a piece of technology I'll probably never use. I was like, dude, you're going to use it quite well. He got it, and he's like, I don't know what took me so long. I was like, I know, right? Because he just wanted to pump out characters and art, but what hindered him, what he didn't realize, what was hindering him from putting out art was that he couldn't, like, he had to sit down and get a piece of pencil and paper. He can't take that everywhere. You know, there's like limitations to all that nonsense. And with the iPad, he could literally just whip out his iPad, start drawing, save it, go back, return to it later, and it'd be perfectly the same. He won't wrinkle the paper, and he could show it. He could submit it to his Instagram right away. He didn't have to take a photo of it. All these little things that you have to do because you have to use paper were all gone, and now he can't live without his iPad. And he was like super traditional, so it's just kind of funny. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. It changes the game for you learning too, because you can download images of other people's stuff. And one of the Patreon things I'm going to do for people is actually give people my pencil work to trace over and practice some of the line work. And I think that might take away some of the fear of people wanting to try and learn. I think tracing, some people feel like tracing is like bad, which it would be if you were trying to trace and take credit for the artwork that you're producing. I mean, that you're tracing, but I'm just going to give it freely so people can do exactly what I'm doing right now, is taking it and actually drawing over it. And so something cool here, for example, like, let's say I don't like his arm, how it's just kind of angled at this. I'm going to duplicate this real quick. Oops. And say I wanted to change his arm angle. I could draw his arm out and cut it out, which is super dope. And then I can literally move it around and change the angle of it. Right, maybe I'll move it here. And then I'll be good. And then, of course, you have this white space behind it, but if you just want to take that and then... Actually, you know what we should do is this. Take this and then... And there you go. So now you can start tracing and drawing from there. I moved his arm and in a different position to give it more of a thing. But I'm not going to actually do that because I drew it the way I liked it. in the first place. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty dope, right? Like, that's pretty amazing that you can do that with a piece of artwork. And so with this, you can see that I'm just like clicking on and off to see the image, but I'm going to do each character on his own lining. And yeah, it just helps me separate each character. I'll probably end up forgetting though, honestly. Sometimes I forget. And I'll draw everybody on like one line. I've done that where I've done entire pieces where I didn't make a new layer. Sometimes you just forget to make new layers. And it's a pain in the butt to go back and fix it. So it's a good practice for you to learn to make new layers. But I'm going to make a YouTube video on how to do this more thoroughly. Hopefully soon. But it's just so hard. Making like actual videos. Live stream's so easy. I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to do it and it'll be done. And also, if you want to learn some techniques to make your drawings a little bit easier and faster, you can go on to websites and get drawings of hands and stuff like that, and just trace over them. And your muscle memory for drawing how to draw hands with the knuckles and all that stuff will improve. And that's a real easy way to just move forward in your artistic skills. I mean, you really just be jumping forward like crazy if you did that. I don't do it that often. I should do it more. I do practice hands and stuff like that, but on ink, not on digital. Probably should do digital. I don't know why I don't do digital. Eeks. Okay, so we're going to do the coloring in a second. I just want to get his torso done so you guys can see the way inking has a really beautiful effect to this whole thing. Funny, my brother-in-law was like, he's trying to buy an iMac for editing like these Pokemon videos. He collects Pokemon cards and stuff, and or his nephew, I mean his son does, and they always want me to edit these videos because I do videography and stuff and editing, but I'm like, no, I'm like I dread editing that much unless I'm getting paid money. So he finally just gave in and bought himself one, and then my sister doesn't really enjoy Mac products because our family's Korean, so we like Samsung products. And even I have a Samsung's Note, as you saw early in the video. iPhones drive me literally insane. How they don't let you do so much, and they don't have a pen. All kinds of things piss me off about the iPhone. But the MacBook and the iPad, everything else Apple makes is so brilliant. It blows my mind. It blows my mind because I've used Wacom tablets. I've used all kinds of different, just different stuff. But when it comes to the Apple products on their MacBooks and stuff like that, they crush it. It's like flawless. But when it comes to their iPhones, I don't know what the heck they're doing. It's like the worst to me. But anyways, so he got the iMac, and they're trying to debate whether it's valuable. When I was explaining to them, I was like, the things that the kids will be able to do, my nephew and niece, like they'll be able to work on their iPads. They'll be able to like transfer over images instantly with AirDrop. Like it'll make your life so much easier. Time will be saved. It's one of those things that you're like, is it worth it? And if you're a digital kind of person, it's very worth it. Is it worth to get an iPhone? I don't think so, but that's up to you. But the computer, man, the computers do so well, especially for digital art and stuff. Like if you're doing graphic design, you're doing any of this stuff, they have so many different apps that make your life easier. I highly recommend. A MacBook is like on point. I have my PC that I built because I'm a gamer, and I have the MacBook, and it's a game changer all the way through. Like I'm trying to sell my PC and build all the parts for it just so I can have cash. But like I love my MacBook. It's just, what can I say? Apple, you got me. You got me there. You got me there. You Americanized me a little bit. But I hope that what happens from when they have it is that they produce more creative work and more artsy stuff. I hope the kids will use it more. The new generation has so much at their fingertips that they don't really, I don't know if they actually cherish, technology advances. I think they're like, oh, cool, the new thing's out, I need to get it. But then I don't think they actually understand like the value of what it means to have something that does a certain thing. I don't know. I sound like such an old fart. They literally, when I told them to play video games on the console, they're like, what do you mean? We have an iPad. And I'm like, what do you mean you have an iPad? I don't care if you have an iPad. What does that mean? That's not a console. That's just an iPad. It's not playing games. They're like, yeah, I can play Roblox and all this stuff on my iPad. I'm like, no. Roblox is not a video game. Roblox is a mind-numbing software. It's not a game. Halo's a game. Sorry, getting a little riled up. If I ever become senile, it's going to be over video games. I applied for a job at GameStop today. I hope I get it, because I always wanted to work at GameStop. I used to like work at Blockbuster when it was out in Hollywood Video. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I used to. I was a manager there, or one of the managers, and I loved working at Blockbuster. Oh yeah. More towards Windows. Windows is a great software though. It's pretty solid, but the issue is it has weird updates and it has a lot of bugs. Yeah, it is from day one of their life, isn't it? It's crazy. Like they never had to experience. I'm an 85 kid, right? Like, so 85 is a good year. 85 is an amazing year. It's the best year, I would say. I think we had Mario come out that year. Thundercats came out that year. Pretty much, I think Goonies probably came out that year. I don't know if Goonies did, but I feel like it did. But I think we had an Atari, or we had a Commodore. And then I remember, the main thing I remember is the first PC that we got, a floppy disk and stuff. But the Nintendo that I had, it was like the coolest thing I ever got. I begged my family for a Nintendo. They kind of like gave in, because at that time my family was working so much and I had to like stay home so much by myself. They're like, just give Josh a Nintendo. I'm like, yeah. So I was glued to the TV. the unfortunate dial TV where you click it over. You only had like 6 channels. And then I got the Nintendo, and you had to like blow into the cartridge. And so what we'd also have to do is lick the cartridge, like get a little spit on the cartridge and like smear it across, and then blow on it, and then shove it as hard as you can into the system, and then push down really hard and press the start button at the same time in order for it to work when games got used too much, because we play the crud out of those games. I guess the water was a conductant to making the electrical signals work, and it worked. If you licked that thing, it worked. It probably was not healthy for my brain, but I did it. And played Duck Hunt, all those kind of things, you know. Kids don't realize how much work you had to do to play like things and do things. At least not these days. They're not used to it at all. It's kind of sad. Makes me sad. They don't even know how to go outside and play either, which makes me really, really sad. Because I would go outside and still play with my friends, you know. Oh, the good old days. I could just imagine some older person like my father or his generation be like, "You don't remember playing kick the can, you know?" Okay. I'm not gonna go kick no can, Dad. I'll play stickball, I get that. But kicking the can's a little bit too depressing. A little too sad. Oh, dude, I remember, man, floppy disks were the best because I don't understand. You could stack so many of those things. They couldn't hold much information, but I had this one floppy disk that had my will that I wrote out whenever I was like a kid. I wrote a will. I'm so curious what I possibly thought I had in my in my possession that was mine that I could give to anybody at that age. So I'm so curious, but floppy disk, man. I wish they would make a comeback because they were sick. You could only store like probably not even one image of today's. You probably couldn't even do one photo today and stick it on there because our photos are such high quality. Oh, I loved it. More snow? Dude, I wish I had snow, period. I was raised in Texas. We had dirt, tornadoes, mud, mosquitoes, and humidity. I went to, part of my family is from Ohio, so we go to Ohio every once in a while, and I loved, like, they would collect snow and put it in their freezer, and they would keep it in there for months until I got there. Probably in the summers when I got there, and they would take it out and let me build a snowman. But think about building a snowman out of ice that's been in the freezer for, since January. And I'd go outside in the summer heat, and it would just instantly solidify into a hard, solid piece of ice and then melt. I love snow, though. In Korea, it snowed quite a bit, so I got to play in snow. But then nobody liked to throw snowballs. Kind of pissed me off. I'm like, how are you guys not a fan of... I want to have a snowball fight. I've never had a real snowball fight with somebody. Or built a snow fort, CDs were not a... CDs were great, cool to collect and stuff. But think about how many times we scratched those CDs, dude. Like, that was a pain in the butt to keep those CDs from getting a scratch on. Because once you got a scratch, you knew your day was stressed out. You were going to be stressed all day long. I'm not a fan of CDs because also CDs took up so much space in your car, and like you had to like get the CD binder. Oh man, the CD binder. Dude, my binder, I'd have to buy a new binder all the time. And then you like say you had to switch a CD. You know how many car accidents probably happened from CD changing? My buddy who wrecked my car, who totaled it, destroyed it, flipped it, he said he dropped a CD and went to go grab it. I was like, dude, there's no way. I mean, he could have done it, but I just think he was on something. Because there's no way. But, yeah. CDs, I mean, cassette tapes, I don't mind coming back. Kind of like this idea of cassette tapes. A little bit more patience involved. Okay, CDs were cool because you had the CD player in your car and you can customize your CD player. Okay, so never touch the CD under. Yeah, you can't touch a CD underneath. Get that fingerprint and then it'll be all messed up. Okay, so now we have, let's say we started inking a Lion-O here. We want to color him. We're going to move on to stage 2. I'm not going to be able to ink this entire thing. It's just be ridiculous. I will eventually get to it, but for now, let's go on to task number 2. I'm going to create a couple layers underneath it. Just one really is what you need, but 2 is fair for 2 different colors. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some images of color sampling. So I got this one here. Got some retro colors from her. I took some screenshots on my phone. And then we're going to kind of take these color schemes and apply them to the art piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and add. And then, wait, no, canvas. Let's just do add. I'll just show you what it looks like when you add insert a photo. Let's take Lion-O here. Move them over to the side. And what you're going to do is once you have the photo on here, you're going to press and hold, and then it's going to choose a color. You can choose all these different colors. Okay? Let's go ahead and get his hair done. So we're going to choose this color, red-ish, whatever that is. And oops, need to erase this line. Okay. Then we're going to go back to our pen. You can use a studio pen. I like to use the script pen because it thickens quite a bit. But you're just going to color underneath. That's all you're going to do. Okay, but look, that's going to take a while if you want to be perfect. What is the best thing to do is to color it in like this and then get the outline. I mean, if you've already colored in the black, you can also just duplicate this layer, for example, and I could just go in here and then, oops, nope. Usually, if there's a closed line, you can just color in the black, inside the black, but I didn't do that apparently. So we're just going to continue here. And maybe actually Studio Pen's better for this. With the technique, yeah, it is better. It doesn't spread too far. Oh, that's the opening right there. That's why it turned red everywhere. It's amazing how technology advances, but as we advance in technology, okay, look at the AI. AI has been something we've been talking about for ages now. We finally have it, and it's going to bring us into the actual age of real technology, right? Because AI is going to be able to develop for us all the issues we can't figure out, space travel, mechanics of any kind, engineering and stuff like that. I use ChatGTP to answer so many of my questions. It's ridiculous now because Google just sucks. You type in like, okay, for example, what's a good dog food for pugs, right? Like I have a pug, I'm trying to figure out dog food. Of course, on Google, you're going to have 1,000 different sponsored ads telling you what's better. But on ChatGTP with AI, it says, exactly, it takes all that information and compiles and says, well, for pugs, this is blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, please fact check this. And it fact checks it. And it's freaking phenomenal. It's brilliant. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. So I think AI is going to change everything. It's funny because with creativity, that was one of the things that my friends were saying, like, hey, AI might be great, but it'll never be an artist. It'll never do art. And I'm like, it'll exactly do art. It'll do art better than all of us. And no one believed me until finally AI came out. And I was like, look, there you go. I'm like, what do you think it was? What do you think art is? Like, you have a perception that art is this huge creative task, but really art is about placing images on top of images from references and then merging them together to look the way we want. Like, of course it's going to do art. Of course. Like, that's what AI would be. If it can do art, that should be the first thing it does. That's a tester of its qualification of being an AI. Now, can it do perfect quantum mechanics and stuff? Now, that's the next step. But either way, I think the fact that it's doing art for us is a good thing because it shows us that we need real artists to be valuable, and it might make artists valuable again. So it's a good time to be an artist, And all those who don't cherish artists, Oh, yeah. Definitely AI lies a lot. Oh, there is a select tool in Procreate. It is up here, and you can do... This is the select tool. You can do automatic, right? And it selects it, right? And he selects this, but it's kind of iffy here and there. Exactly. AI generated images are not art at all. Yeah, art is an experience. It's a feeling. It's an expression. It's a design. It's so much more than just what people think it is, but it makes me happy that people use AI for certain things because it kind of weeds out the people who don't really have a desire for art or an eye for art, But at the same time, AI movies will come out one day eventually, and people will have to realize that there's amazing AI movies because these people are able to tell stories and maybe put their script onto an AI generator and they'll create every scene, and it might be cool, But it's not acting. It's not all these other cool things that we probably desire. So I think it'll be a split between two worlds of people just loving tech and then people loving the natural world. I like natural things. I'm a big fan of Nat Geo and, realistic acting and Daniel Day-Lewis and, these kind of things. But who knows? New generation, who knows? Okay, so here's something cool too. With his hair, it's not the color that I wanted. I needed a little bit more bland. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hue and saturation. I can change the hue and the saturation, right? I'm going to drop down the saturation a little bit to like a 47. The hue, purple hair. It's like Dragon Ball Z. Where's the yellow? But it's more of an orangish color there is his hair. Brightness, too orange. A little bit darker. 48. And then drop down the saturation just a tad. No, up a little bit, up a little bit. There we go. We'll do 48%. And then that looks pretty good. But what you can also do is you can... oops, you know what? Let's duplicate this real quick. Let's just look like I show you a technique. You can go in here and alpha lock it. Alpha lock takes the color or whatever's on the image and then makes it the only thing selectable. And you could do fun stuff like, let's see. Half tones, beat tones, these guys are great. You can go in here and then if I want this and then I want to change it to like a little bit darker, I can give him a nice retro vibe and look, which is kind of cool if you want to do comic book style. Hey, that's fine. If you're younger than me and you're acting like an old fart, that is fine. And I don't even mind if you enjoy AI. I can, yeah. But that's good. I'm glad that you're fighting for the classics. That's a good thing. That means that's a good thing. I always worry about, I think everybody worries about that in the sense of the old school stuff disappearing because everyone wants something new. But yeah. Anyway, so here's what I do. Sometimes I do with the beat tone. Oops. Whoa. Let's do that. And then, oh my gosh. What is happening here? And then you go back in here and you just start coloring this in. Get rid of the beat tones here. I mean, it's probably easier just to do the select tool. I'm just showing you guys what it looks like. I'm not really, this is not the technique I guess I would use. Which is cool. See, you got this like effect going on between his hair. But we're not going to do that because that's not what I want to do. Anyways, we're going to put his hair back. Oh, another thing is you can also, oops, you can do masks. But I'm just going to do this real quick to show you guys something. Oops. Look at that flaming head. Look at that. Isn't that dope? I love it. And then you can even get darker here and then go to a different red. Really get some kind of cool fades in here. This is for really good for comic books and stuff like that. You can really get the skins to shade in this way. But with Thundercats here, we're not going to do all that jazz. So how do I go back? I double tap or hold it until it goes back to its original state. There we go. That's the original state. All right. So let's do his skin now. Thundercats. Oh. Man, I love these guys. That is a bright yellow. Oh, you know what? Let's do the technique that the select tool. Go in here and then choose. Nope. Freehand. The freehand is like it's like a drawing tool. So you just draw, and you can tap in locations to make it easier, so you don't have to like get a perfect line every time. Yeah. And then you can zoom in, of course, make life way easier. You know what I want to do is a recreation of Inspector Gadget. I used to be a big fan of Inspector Gadget. I may have to draw my version of a Inspector Gadget. Probably a mix between like Frank Miller's. Okay, so once you have it selected, sorry, let me go back to here. You got it selected. You can see these little grid lines on the outside. That means everything that's clear is going to be colored in. I would just take this yellow and move it over and just drop that bad boy. Bada boom, bada bang. Now, is it the same yellow? It does not look like the same yellow. I'm very disappointed. Let's go there. No, let's go. There we go. There we go. That's better. And so then you just click off of it, and then you have your dude. Now, let's see. That's his white. For this, I may want to add another layer and then draw on top of it. So what's his face look like? So it's from his nose down. You can just color this one into a small area. Odyssey says, will you make the line art color, or will you make keep it classic black? So do you mean to keep the lines black that are outlining it, or color it? Let's see, what has he got? Well, he's black, so I'll probably keep it black just to keep the cartoon vibe, if that's what you mean. I've done pieces where I've changed the black line into a color, and I do like it. I did in fact, I did an entire card game with that design, which looks cool. And I'll show you in a second what it looks like. It's not phenomenal the way I did it, but I did enjoy it. I think the black is just something I like. I like the inking look. I think it's great. I prefer to have things in black and white anyways. His eyeballs. His eyeballs. Okay, let's make that more white. Yeah, both are pretty awesome. Let's just make his teeth white too. Or yellow white. Oh no, totally forgot about this. I'll show you guys a really quick what it looks like when you color the lines. Okay, well, I mean, maybe I can do that here. Let's duplicate real quick. Delete this. Let's alpha lock. Let's color this. So if I did, let's say the lines of this a different color, I could do a yellow for his skin, and you can see what happens. Right? It's kind of rough. Probably want to do a darker one. I mean, it's cool. It's very cool. It's freaking very cool. I think I have too big of a shadow. It definitely takes a little bit off the edge, right? And you can get some of these cool fades in here. Maybe even underneath, throw in some of that red. I mean, that's very cool. It's very retro too. Right? That's not bad at all. Even if I did the whole thing of brown red, that's very retro. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. You had a good idea. Good job. Huh. I don't know, man. Now that I see this color brown, or this reddish color on him, I may do it. But it wouldn't work if I did blue, right? Ooh, dude, that's kind of cool too. Look at that. That's like the man. Huh. You got me questioning myself now. I don't know. That is very cool. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to finish coloring him, and then we're going to see what that looks like with colors, because that looks freaking sick. I don't even know what to tell you how sick that looks. Like if I had a poster, yeah, it's kind of like a shiny version. Huh. Will purple work? Nah, purple don't work so well. How about violet? Dude, it just changes the whole vibe instantly. So the bright colors don't really work out too well because it kind of kills the details. But if you go darker, I mean, dang, look at that guy. He's looking freaking cool. Thundercats, ho! All right, maybe I'll color it. I'm looking at it right now. I'm like kind of envious of the lion. Yeah, I don't know. You got me questioning. But we're gonna stick to black and white right now. Black right now because I gotta see the image. Yeah, it definitely is not as fun as the color. You're right. Look at that. The color adds so much more flavor to it. Huh. What I'm going to try to do also with this is let me finish coloring his skin tones real quick, so that way I can show you what noise effect will do, which is what I do with all my vintage drawings, or a lot of them I do, and it helps. And vintage work is really fun. Man, that looks really great. I'm actually impressed. That's a good idea. I might take up your idea on that, of using color. Get out of here, drawing. Using color for the outlines, because that's pretty solid of a design, and it's unique. Like, and I'm all about trying new stuff. So thank you, Yukori Odyssey. I'm gonna say your name right. Hold on. Let me see. Yukori Odyssey. Yukori Odyssey. Ah, son of a gun. I'm gonna say that name. Give me a pronunciation dialogue or word. I don't know how to say your name. I'm gonna call you Yuko. How about that? Yukori. It's funny because I studied Japanese for a long time. I feel like that should be a Japanese word. Boom. Boom. Look how easy that is, Randy. See? If you just get the iPad, man, you could just be balling out of control, just doing all these drawings you want to do and not worrying so much. You don't have to publish any of them. Take your sweet time. Man. Dude, he's looking great though. Once you color him, oh my gosh, it's like I'm making a cartoon come to life. Okay, Yuko. That's what we're gonna stick with. Yuko. Terrible at names. Okay, for shading. Okay, here's a technique that I learned about shading, just for you guys to know. For example, this is where the color range was at. Okay, let me do the disc. No, harmony. There we go. Here's where the color is at. This is its most contrasted color. Okay, and what you're going to want to do is, darn it, I like to do classic, is not just drop it down straight down, right? You don't want to go straight down here because what that does, it doesn't build the contrast. And you can see with the harmony here, it'll stay in that same realm. But what I learned was, let's go back to its original state. And then you're going to move the hue over so slightly into a darker color, not into the yellows, right? You want to go into a darker one, and then you're going to drop it down just a tad. And what this does, yeah. So once I start coloring here, I'm just going to show you real quick. Hold on, guys. Oh, no. I'm on the same. Always remember to put a new layer on top. What this does is replicate the idea that you're trying to merge a color into more of a contrasted color. I know this sounds confusing. I'm just trying to make sense of it for you, but you'll see in a second. I'm gonna play with it for a second, and then drop this color in, and so you have this brown undertone shading. Okay. Now that looks like it kind of would be accurate because, well, it is accurate, I think. Definitely more accurate than would be if I just went down. Let's go here. Man, I want fried chicken so bad right now. I don't know what's going on. Got a weird craving for fried chicken. Okay, so when that's placed, it looks naturally done. It looks good. It looks fantastic. But let's say I was going to do just dropping this down to a darker color, and we do it. You can instantly see the difference. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't give the same color tint because what happens is when things are in the shadows, they don't actually change to just a darker tint. Nothing changes to a darker color tint. Nothing goes from here to here really when let's say you go to the shadow, you're in the shade of a tree. And let's say your skin tone is like mine. I'm yellow. I'm Asian. It's here, and it goes down to this. No, I don't turn into an olive weird color here. I'd actually still be a little bit more. I have blood flowing through my skin, so I'm going to be more like this area. Well, probably even more like this. It becomes more saturated, I guess you would say. And then when the more I get into the light, you become more pale and light. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that actually makes sense. You got to think of values and stuff. Now, technically, towards their contrast, if you want something super contrasty, what are you doing? Right? Sheesh. You choose this. Boom. Instantaneous opposite color. And you could even do that's not going to work. This is an oil painting technique I learned a while back, but I don't know how to explain it because I'm just honestly confused of how to explain this thing. Anyways, it's a technique you should try out. Try turning the hue of a color a little bit more towards a darker hue and then lowering it just a little bit, and it'll match the colors a little bit more. The hair, for example, I would do this, right? Let's say, what am I doing? Let's say, let's go black. No, let's not go black, Josh. What are you doing? I'm going to move it over towards more of the reds, and then we'll drop it down to here. Actually, more red. This should give it a much better shadow than it would if I just kept it in the same color red and then just dropped it down. Okay. Okay, so that red is a little bit too. I need there we go. It's a darker red, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I could do orange. Nah. Okay, there you go. Does this make sense? Does it make sense? It's too dark. There we go. That's better. This guy's looking beastly. Dang. He's looking dope. Go in here, or you can just do the erase one and then go back in and just. What's cool is the erase is actually a cooler tool than the drawing tool when you're doing the iPad, because you can come in here and get some really fine lines. Maybe I won't do that fine of a line. Oops. Yeah. So that didn't really help. I don't know what I'm doing there. Goofing around, apparently. Oh yeah, man. It definitely, I overcomplicate things with color too. That's why I don't do it very often. I really don't. With anime, it's much easier because you can take references. Like I'm able to take, where's that drawing? Take him and actually duplicate it, which once you duplicate it, the eye and the mind will automatically go, oh, I know what this is, right? So, easy breezy. But whenever I'm trying to create my own drawings, man, color gets out of control. I can't do it. Here's the cool thing. This one's the most cheating I could possibly do. But let's say you have him, right? And I don't want to draw this logo. Right? I can just circle this logo. Copy and paste. And take this logo, right? Move it over. It's really sad. Yeah, I feel sad about what I'm doing right now. But truth be it, you can put it in here. Wait. Freeform. And mold it towards it, and then boom, right? You could just make it like that. That's pretty sick. But I'm not going to do that because I like the challenge. Okay, let's get his man vest thing, whatever this is. Oh, you know what? He has a muscle here I've never seen before. You see that muscle? What is that muscle right here? Is this even a real muscle? Oops, sorry. What is this muscle? I don't have that muscle on my chest. Do I have that muscle? I don't have that muscle. Oops. Okay, well, I didn't add that into his actual chest. I made him a human chest because I've never seen such a muscle like that. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Not doing that muscle. Okay, so let's just add a new layer. Make sure we have a good brush. I'm going to go in here, start coloring in this bad boy. I'm reading a book on color theory right now. It's a watercolor book, and it's really good. I think it's helpful, but I probably need to take a Skillshare, honestly, to tell you the truth, because my coloring is just, I don't know. I don't care about color. I just don't care about it. Maybe I should care about color, but I love black and white. I love it. You know, I was kind of raised on the Tim Burton phase of life too, where everything was like black and white stripes, and I don't know, something about ink turns me on. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. When I see an ink drawing and I don't see any color, I'm like, yes. Ooh, what did I go wrong? Wait a minute. I got this colored. Goes all the way around. There we go. Okay. So he's looking good. Let's color in his yellow. I wish I had abs like this. My goodness. Is it a bone? You think it's a bone? I don't think it's a bone. What bone is that? Do tigers have a bone that I don't know about on this? Maybe they do. Maybe this is like a really scientific cartoon. Like they're like really exaggerating what a tiger is like or a lion is like. It could be. It could be. I don't know. I mean, if the research was that intense, that'd be wild. That'd be seriously wild. Okay, he's got this hand thing. I mean, the color's going here. Is his whole hand? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Okay, we're almost done. Almost done. I'm not going to do this whole thing. It's going to take me 15 hours to color this thing and ink it, so we're not going to do this whole thing, but I'm going to show you some cool techniques. Hopefully it's been informational for you guys so far. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We just reached 666 subscribers yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. I'm super stoked. Not that I care what the 666 means, but I think it's hilarious. So I'm actually going to do a demon. I just haven't figured out what kind of demon I'm going to do. I want to draw a demon for the reaching that goal. Yeah, I mean, I get you. Yeah, I would think the same thing. Is it a bone, right, Yuko? It's like, I mean, it's got to be something. I feel you. So I'm probably going to do a pretty extravagant demon, something that really is haunting-ish towards the demon realm, you know? I don't know, man. But I like the idea of doing for 666 followers. That's really cool. When I reach 777, maybe I'll do an angel or something. But for right now, we have this guy looking as cool as he can be. I do feel like his hand should be more retrofied. More golden. Wait, what does he have the no, he's not even wearing it. He's not even, gosh. What a jerk. Doesn't even have his like gauntlet on. It's okay. We can figure this out. I wish I could play the music for Thundercats on my YouTube. That'd be really cool. Okay, so that's not the color. Let's go in here and change the color. There we go. That's about right. Super golden. So like I said, if we're going to choose the color, we're going to move it over a little bit, drop it down, and then we'll start coloring in. Geez, maybe that's too dark. There we go. Red Color and Light by James Gurney. I have not. Is it good? Is it I guess it's in a tutorial on color and light, right? I haven't read it. No, I haven't read that one. The one I'm reading right now is, well, I don't know. It's over in my bookshelf. I don't read enough about art as much as I should. I've been busy learning religion and culture and all kinds of crazy crap for the comic book, and man, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I chose a subject that was kind of a little intense. You know, the Bible has got so much historical like fact to it that if it was fantasy, I would feel a lot more. But then there's actually a lot of historical issues with like the kings and queens and people who actually did live that I have to learn like what like cult groups were there back in the day and all this kind of stuff in order to make my comic book a little bit accurate and not offend 1,000 million people to come after me, kind of thing, you know. But yeah. So, yeesh. I really need to get back on the comic book though, because it's really cool. I'm really excited about it, but at the same time, I have to create my own Bible in order to make it work. I kind of bit off more than I could chew, I think. But what good is life if it's not a challenge, right? Life is meant to be fun. Really? Okay, I'll check it out. And I've never heard of it explained that way. Intermediate to professional. I would love to be a professional. I would love to be. I will check it out. James Gurney. I'll check out this guy. Okay, so before I end, I got to do this one coloring of the shadow under his armpit. And then I think I'm done. All right, he's looking good. He's looking like a brand new 2010, TV show remake of the Thundercats. That's what he's looking like. The sword, I'm probably going to do a fuchsia. It's going to have that lightning going through it, and it's going to have all this cool effects. It's probably going to be the only thing that's going to be kind of like less retro. But right now, thank you, Yuko. I appreciate the reference to James Gurney. Hold on, let me color this. The things I have to worry about. The things that bother me that don't allow me to move on with the process. I'm like, this is going to be a 30-minute video. It's probably already an hour and a half. Darn me. So, Yuko, you're working on a project. I think you, aren't you? Didn't you say? I think it was you. It could be someone else. Someone said they were working on a project. Do you do a lot of color for your work? I'm curious. I'd just like to know, people who watch and, like to learn what people are doing. No judgment, It encourages me to know that other people are on projects too. There we go. Oh, thanks, Randy. Doesn't it? It's kind of looking fresh, isn't it? Imagine when this whole thing is done and I have that fade underneath and everything. I'm actually very excited. I don't know if I can sell it because it's, I'm not a Thundercats creator or anything, but I'm gonna definitely try. I think. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. And I usually don't even like the things that I color, tell you the truth. It'll be... Oh, that's right. You're doing the art book, and it's going to be all in color. I'm excited for that, man. That's going to be sick. I keep on saying man. I don't know. When I mean man, I mean person. I don't mean male, female, because I don't know any of you guys. Or see, I did saying guys. Man, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, let's get done with this. This is way too long. I know it's been a long time. But I'm excited for the colored art book because that's cool. So, all right, we have him done. Now, how do we make him look retro? One of the cool things you can do is you can apply a new layer, and what you can do is add, oh man, honestly, I don't even have it, I don't think. Well, there's another way you can do it. You can just add like a faded gray blue to a whole new layer, and it'll cover it all up, right? And you can go to noise and heighten that noise up a lot, right? And you can change the scale of it. I like to do the scale pretty big. What's billows? Ridges, clouds? Just clouds. Just get to where you want it to be, right? It's too big. Okay, and there we go. And then what you do is you take it and then you go through here to... Oh, it is too big. Tis, Josh. Tis. Go back and do noise. Scale, octaves. Whoops. Well, now it's doing nothing, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Okay, that'll work. Then you go here and then screen is what I usually do, but I'm trying to check if there's another one that'll work. Overlay, no, it's too harsh. Maybe it is screen. You could overlay and just drop it down a little bit. But it doesn't do the effect that I want it to do. But you can see here, now it kind of looks like it has this, like, it has mess ups in it. And you can play around with this effect. But there's also, you can download actual paper effects. I would flip through the paper on my iPad, but then I have photos. I don't know what I have on there. So, you know, I gotta protect myself a little bit. And so in which I would apply just another layer of like paper or some kind of vintage paper. If I have any papers at home, I can just take a photo of it and just apply it on top. And that'll give everything on underneath it this look. But you can tell that right now it already makes it look like it's kind of like an old poster, kind of noisy. It's like been faded, messed up with. For now, we're going to delete that and keep it very cool and clean. So, thank you, Yuko. I super appreciate it. Thank you, Randy. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope this was somewhat informative. This was outside of my norm of doing inking and drawing, but I think I kind of owed it to everybody to show how I created some of these other ones. Like, you know, this one here I have to really work on. It's looking good, but it could be better. I just don't know the coloring of this one. I'll figure it out. This is what I did exactly for the Wolverine image. You can see that there's a lot of paper effect to it. You can take out the paper effect. And I added a few little other effects. That's the coloring that I did underneath. So yeah, it's just the same technique, just making layers and giving fades and stuff. It's looking pretty dope. Shing. And here's another one I'm working on. I just never got to it because I'm lazy. It's an ink drawing that I did of the end of the world kind of deal, and I got to get to this. But, you know, Gundam looks good. I like the way Gundam came out. He's looking fly. My goodness, he's looking fly. Big fan. I don't think I have anything else that I did that with, but yeah, Thundercats ho. Appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. I can't wait to see y'all's work. Definitely, you know what? I'll put up a Discord or something that you guys can join, and if you ever want to share your work, you can share it with me there, because I would love to just see it and, you know, be encouraged myself. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great night and feel like this, you know, Randy, if you get the opportunity to work on your, you know, Photoshop or an iPad or something like that, go for the digital art style. It's fun, interesting. And the art book, I'm excited, Yuko, to see that stuff. That's cool, because colored stuff is always dope, as you can see. Anyways, you guys rock. I hope you guys, if you're first-time watchers out there, if you're creatives, go out and create and have a super Thundercat night. See you guys soon.